Welcome to the first and biggest virtual hackathon in Palestine. Abdullah
Welcome,
Khader is with you.
welcome everyone from Gaza and all Palestinian cities and all over the world. This is Ghada Ibrahim. Good morning, Abdullah.
Good morning, Ghada. Good morning to all followers from Palestine and elsewhere worldwide. As a matter of fact, you are all aware of the magnitude of the corona pandemic or the COVID-19 virus that has been invading the world and has been laying difficulties and obstacles in this time throughout the different borders, either all over the world or in particular in Palestine. Tens of problems resulted from that and faced by the world and Palestine in particular with the outbreak of this coronavirus. Where are those problems
We
manifested?
can say that during this crisis, a lot of sectors in life have been affected. We can say that a lot of sectors have been paralyzed totally. Some of these sectors are the health sector, education, healthcare, and economy, obviously.
That's right. For instance, in the health sector, there are tens of challenges that resulted from the outbreak of the coronavirus. One of the most important restrictions is the one of the most important restrictions imposed by that virus all over the world and in Palestine in particular is the important and necessity of educating people about the needed practices to prevent the spread of that pandemic. We have tens of pregnant women and children that need primary health care because that were prevented from that access to that health care and they need support and help. Because of that, Ghada, what happened to the sector of education? You are a mother, you have a child. What did you do with them?
That's right. The sad fact is that uh, over 1.3 million kids in Palestine have stopped their education in different educational stages because they can't access, they don't have access to their schools. This increased the burden on families and on teachers, on parents, on schools, and so on. How can we teach those students, and parents are now thinking, how can I help my students finish their school year? At the very same point, the only
Of
education.
course, in addition to education and health, there are tens of economic challenges because of the outbreak of the coronavirus to the world and in particular to Palestine. And everyone is aware of the magnitude of the economic situation that the Palestinians have been living in the meantime and the extent of the problems, let alone with the outbreak of the pandemic and the restrictions that were caused by that. Let's imagine that around 80,000 casual laborers in Palestine cannot have an income because of the spread of the outbreak of the corona pandemic. We talk about tens of startups and small enterprises that are not able to deal with the vendors and suppliers, either local or external, and how to deal with their customers and clients because of the outbreak of the coronavirus. Then tens of economic challenges, tens of challenges in the sector of health and education with the outbreak of the virus. We speak today in the beginning of this live broadcast, Hack the Crisis Palestine, about around 2 million people infected worldwide and more than 128,000 people dead worldwide. When it comes to numbers in Palestine, 288 cases up to the moment that were registered and tested positive in Palestine and also in occupied Jerusalem Al-Quds, around 441 cases in Al-Quds, Jerusalem, despite the other cases and the other conditions that lived in Jerusalem. 2 cases that died because of that, and we pray that the Lord prevent us any further spread of that disease and fend it off. Let us, our viewers, dear viewers, let us in this particular moment why Gaza Sky B approached this way or started this way.
At Gaza Sky Geeks, we take our social responsibility seriously. We're one of the leading tech hubs in Palestine and in Gaza. We're also known worldwide. This is not the first hackathon we hold in Gaza, but we hold different hackathons and different events and different crises in Palestine. We're a tech hub, a tech community that holds or takes its social responsibility to create solutions, to find solutions for challenges seriously. We're trying to gather people with talents, people like designers, programmers, and so to find solutions for this challenge. Now, this time it's very special because this hackathon is the very first virtual hackathon in Palestine. It's totally virtual. Everyone is working on it to make it. Everyone, Gaza Sky Geeks, is working to make it successful. This chance will teach us a lot.
Of course, there's no doubt, Gaza. And to this particular point, we don't forget to thank our partners. We have tens of partners, international organizations and local organizations as well. We have partners who are siding with the Gaza Strip and alongside with the Gaza Strip. And what the most important with Crescent Enterprise, UNFPA, the UNICEF, the Canadian government, the government of Holland, and also the Intersect Hub, the SIDA, Swedish Organization for International Development, and Bank of Palestine. We also thank all our partners, either local organizations and international organizations and so on, who were there for us throughout the whole week. Ghada, it's like I said, that always hackathon is virtual. And why is it virtual in Palestine?
Okay, so many reasons, Abdullah, and our participants. First of all, we received more than 700 applications to share in this hackathon. We have more than 30 international mentors to support our participants. And the most important thing, the prize, it's over $30,000. It started with $5,000 and now it's over $30,000.
Wow. So more than 700 participants, more than 30,000 mentors and coaches, and now prices that are up to 30,000 US dollars of worth for the winners in that competition. Then our viewers, the followers, the participants in this hackathon, Hack the Crisis Palestine, let's kick in this hackathon. Let's start this hackathon by a meeting and a speech that we will hear from now for His Excellency Minister of Entrepreneurship and Empowerment, Engineer Osama Sadawi. Engineer Osama, at the beginning, welcome and good morning. Engineer Osama, tens of participants, more than 600 participants from different places of Palestine, Tulkarem, Ramallah, Nablus, the capital, Jerusalem, Al-Quds, Gaza, Khan Yunis, Rafah, and also Palestinians from all different corners of the world. They are all waiting to hear what you want to address the Palestinian people, the Palestinian youth with. Thank you for the listeners as well. I start with my word. By the name of the Lord, most gracious, most merciful, the brothers and the Gaza Sky Geeks, the sponsor agencies and engaging agencies in that event, my brothers, the entrepreneurs and the initiators in this event. At the beginning, I communicate the greetings and the salute of the leader of this, the leader of President Mahmoud Abbas, and his feelings, the feelings of dignity and proud of the Prime Minister Mohammed Shtaita, who declared 2020 the year of the Palestinian youth, and also assigned the Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Minister to develop a plan to realize and translate that, despite the fact with the recent development, the pandemic that invaded many countries of the world, but we will not stop. We will continue deal and invest with our capital, which is the youth. And we will be working on that. We'll continue our work for the sake of substantiating that vision, and despite that pandemic, and we hope that we'll be able to achieve that very soon. This special and distinguished event, we're not surprised to see that. When I visited Gaza Sky Geeks and when I met the coaches and the supervisors and the determination and will that I saw and there during the implementation of the different events, I realized that this place is a strong incubation and hub for the youth that would be serve as a realignment and transformation in the work, entrepreneurship work, and promote the values of the work and the values of the work in general. And this, in the first entrepreneurship conference this organization excelled and was different in last September in Bethlehem. And then that specific event that we have now is an indication that we can overcome the obstacles and that we can excel and that we can move. And also some of the characteristics of that specific time that we are living now is the social distancing I participated and engaged in many of the activities, virtual activities, and we promoted that special approach in our Minister of Council meeting that was held virtually. And the idea of organizing a virtual hackathon, this is a great success and milestone that earned respect and appreciation, and that goes to the credit, and the Gaza Sky Geeks is attributable for that. What I want to say, the commitment of the government to promote entrepreneurship in Palestine, and the best evidence of that we formed the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Empowerment by His Excellency the President, and the vision of His Excellency the Prime Minister to promote the engagement of youth and women, and to create real partnership between the government and the NGO and the private sector, and to create an incubating, empowering environment towards local and international engagements with keeping the Palestinian characteristics intact. And we work to ensure the full participation of all stakeholders in the intersectoral analysis and to design of the plan and develop a strategic plan. And in the meantime, we have been putting massive efforts to develop the strategic plan. And I'd like here to highlight that this strategic plan for Palestinian entrepreneurship, not for the Ministry of Entrepreneurship, and we will have to conduct consultation for the final form of the strategy in the end of the month, and what will present it to the ministry into this. And in this event, it is an opportunity, an invaluable opportunity for the entrepreneurship community to accelerate the transformation of the community towards entrepreneurship, and to develop the research and development strategy, and to work to identify the strength through the positive thinking and the positive work. And the communities will witness, all the communities will witness social and economic transformation after the corona is over, where we would enhance the social participation and invest in the human capital, and not in the capital-based companies that has done nothing to the humanity, which will serve as a key pillar of the resonance of the economic resonance post-corona. And then the entrepreneur youth would have their say in this transformation at the local and international level. We aspire as a government officially to engage in this hackathon, and also to commit ourselves to make available whatever resources are ready to develop those ideation and to develop those ideas in different aspects, including health, education, services, economics, and all other sectors, in a way that would promote the unity of the Palestinian community. And I'd like here to touch upon or refer to the effort that has been done by the Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Empowerment, that with a key pillar, that entrepreneur youth that have been volunteering and providing support and also assistance to the government in facing the coronavirus. And the work has started some applications that also ease the work of the Ministry of Health work, and also resolve the problems of farmers, and also to communicate with the Ministry of Agriculture for all the daily issues. And we will be moving quickly to the Ministry of Economy and the different files of the governorates that would enable us to, while taking into consideration that all those applications would be sustainable as a kick-in for the change that we sought to work towards the digitalization. This effort, and I'm taking great pride to talk about that would be based on a great deal of a large number of startups who voluntarily started this, and we hope that the outputs of that hackathon would cooperate in tackling the challenges and finding innovative solutions that we work to be sustainable, and we would support them all the ways we can, and that we know that will address the corona problem. And in conclusion, I ask Sky Geeks and all the members and international and local organizations and the UN agencies that contributed to making it to that specific point, and I hope that you would have a special and fruitful event. And always, I conclude, together we work to develop the incubating environment for entrepreneurship in Palestine. Thank you all. Thank you, Your Majesty, the Minister Engineer Osama Sa'dawi, Minister for the Entrepreneurship and Empowerment. We thank you for your work. We thank you for the work that you have that all listeners and engaging people listen to now. There are many points there are many points that were raised, the intervention and the approach of the Palestinian government, the new approach that the transformation after corona would be different than before corona, and the situation would be extremely different post the pandemic, Corona before, and the situation will be different from the time before. Corona comes to investment, economy are different things. And also he underlined that the government is about to develop a new strategic plan that would redefine the economic situation in Palestine again, and to be prepared for the changes that the world is witnessing due to that. But the good things about the good omens, a good news in the statement of His Excellency the Minister to us and to all our participants, that he underlined that the government aspires to the waits for the outputs of this hackathon and is going to facilitate and translate all those ideas that offer a really added value. That this is
I agree.
This is a new problem.
What His Majesty just said is very encouraging. This support and all the positive impact that the ministry will add is absolutely encouraging.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now we are amidst of a hackathon, virtual, the biggest one, the novelty of the first one in Palestine. Hundreds of people registered and are engaging and participate now from Palestine and all over the world. We have the prices that are up to $30,000 worth, and also government support, and also participation from international input from international partners and local partners. This is a great opportunity to be that we develop solutions, Palestinian solution for the whole world. That's what we aspire to achieve. We have a guest, another guest now, Gada.
That's right. We have the UNICEF. We have the UNICEF representative in Palestine, Genevieve Potet. For our followers and participants in the Arabic language, please choose interpretation in Chinese so you can listen to the Arabic interpretation. Thank you.
Representative in Palestine, welcome. We're very, very honored to have you today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Welcome.
Right. صباح الخير من القدس.
أهلا.
So, we're so excited to be part of this hackathon, and thanks to His Excellency for his opening remarks. Thanks for Gaza Sky Geeks and all the other incubator innovation hubs in Palestine who always work in such a great partnership with one another, showing the example, breaking through the fragmentation and coming together to find solutions to the world's most complicated problems. As you know, and as has been said, COVID-19, it's an unprecedented crisis, and not only is it having a massive impact on people's health and safety, but it's also having profound effects on our society. As His Excellency was saying, there's going to be a world before COVID and a world after COVID. And we need the brightest minds of the young people in particular to come together to help us figure out how we make sure that the world after COVID will be a better world, that we're going to not only rebuild and restart our economies, but we're going to do it in a way that's more sustainable, more inclusive, and more adapted to the needs of the more vulnerable people in the world. So for me, there's no doubt that Palestinian young people can be at the forefront of finding these solutions, not only for Palestine, for the whole world, because Palestinians constantly show the world that you are able, in the worst and most complicated circumstances, to innovate, create, push yourselves, and achieve such amazing outcomes despite all of the odds that you face. So obviously, during this hackathon, we look forward to hearing about new innovative ideas in technology, but also beyond, that will help us really face all of these new challenges. In the UN, so I'm here speaking about not only on behalf of UNICEF, but also my partners in the UN, UNFPA in particular, WHO, all of the agencies are joined up supporting the government of Palestine in its efforts to deal with this crisis. And we need original ideas and solutions. So I'm also pledging, as His Excellency did, that we will use the ideas that come out of this hackathon to design programs to support vulnerable people in Palestine and beyond in this new reality. In this online safe space for young innovators, data scientists, designers, but also communicators, doctors, service providers to come together and help find these solutions. I would also, in addition to developing solutions, I would urge you to use this space to really discuss and reflect together about how this crisis is changing our lives, and how communities around the world can better prepare for, detect, and respond to emergency pandemics and health threats in the future. What are we learning from this so that we don't make the same mistakes again in the future? This is also very important. And I'm so excited to see that 600 participants have signed up with mentors from all over the world. I think that what we're going to find here through this hackathon is not only technical solutions brought forward by developers, but also technical solutions developed by all young people who are currently at home and reflecting on this new realities. So we need everybody on board. We need designers, communicators, graphics designers. We need the service providers themselves. Everyone can contribute to this effort. Please know that we are looking forward to all the great ideas that will surface through this hackathon, and we will continue the journey with you. Thank you so much. Shukran كتير.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Sorry, I wasn't unmuted. So yeah, I just have one last question. I guess as in your experience working with UNICEF for like more than a decade and being a representative for almost 3 years, what do you think is UNICEF expecting from participants? And more to that, what you personally is expecting from this?
As I said, I think we're going to hear here great solutions to the key problems around how to maintain learning for children, how to ensure that health services are continuing to be provided to the most vulnerable, how to make and reach everybody in Palestine and beyond with the messages about staying safe and preventing the spread of the virus, and how to build back better. So for me, if you ask me what my experience tells me about this, I know, and I know very well, especially after 3 years in Palestine, that listening to the ideas of young Palestinian people will put you way ahead of the curve in terms of thinking about innovative solutions. And we need to stop lecturing and coming with solutions imposed from the outside, designed for the world before COVID. And we need to work on these new solutions together, and then we will align our support to it.
Thank you so much for your encouraging words, for your support, I think there are lots of, I say like points that you've kind of shedded the light on that people should be like thinking about, like how do we make sure, for example, how do we make sure like we don't get through this crisis, this global crisis ever again. So this is something to reflect on and like, you know, find solutions for, I guess. So thank you so much for being with us, Genevieve.
Pleasure. And good luck. I look forward to hearing all the great ideas.
شكرا.
تمام، الآن راح نروح لبريك لمدة 5 دقائق، بعدين راح نستكمل معكم باقي الفعاليات لهاك the crisis Palestine.
Now we're going to take a break for 5 minutes, and then we're going to continue with Hack the Crisis Palestine activities.
Before we go to this break, would be fully aware. Now you're able to hear us normally on the Chinese channel, because we Arabs go to the Chinese because this program doesn't support the Arabic language, unfortunately. That's why we say you should go to the Chinese channel to hear and to stay tuned with us, to all participants. You should, for you to listen to the Arabic rendition of that, you should go to the Chinese channel for you to get a first account live interpretation of that on the Gaza Sky Geeks channel on the YouTube, or to go to English for the English. Gada, today we started our broadcast, live broadcast around
That's right.
11. we have ahead of us the day, in addition to 3 other days full of a challenge. What is going to be the summary of our first day?
Well, in the first day, like some of the most important things is like there are a lot of things, but the first thing is we're going to introduce our participants to tools of communication like Zoom, Slack, and different channels of Slack. How can you ask us about certain things? But like the main output of today is to give you information about the hackathon and um, and to see your teams. You should sign up before 5:30.
Also forming the teams, our dear participants, you are all from Palestine and all around the world. The team formation is the most important part so that we could continue your challenge. Just if you don't have a team, you will lose the competition, and then you will lose the opportunity to continue with the competition. Like was explained by Gaza, till 5:30 there would be an opportunity. The official form would be open, and the form would be open for all and accessible for all the participants, and to change the prototype, to choose the prototype that we're going to work on. And in this plan, there are many stations, many milestones. The most important thing is how to deal with the Slack, as basically Slack Hack the Crisis Palestine, which is dedicated for your work. And you can also ask if you needed any help, you can approach the help desk, which is at help_desk. And that team is a specialized team for helping you and provide to help you from any tools that you might need during your work. Also, we have the option of adding the translation. If you needed any help with the translation, especially when conversing with the mentors, the team will help you. For any further explanation throughout the way, in particular, also, once again, we repeat, this is an important notice for all the participants. The first day till 5:30 in afternoon, all participants should be forming teams. And there are also some comments on notices on announces section. There are very clear instructions about the type of the type of the team. The team should consist of a designer, programmer, and also a specialized in the business. So there are specialized people with us who registered for this challenge. Scores of specialized people in education, health, and other fields and sectors. You can benefit from them within your team, so that you would be forming a scientific background, a deeper, profound
That's right.
about this.
And regarding this point, people are asking, how can I choose my team? Today we have a webinar on this, related to this, and we're going to announce it on the announcement channel. It's about how to form your team, how to choose your team members, because like we know, having and forming your team is one of the most important things about the hackathon. We have a second webinar on how to build your first prototype.
That's got two webinars today. That is, one of them is specialized in forming teams, and the other in the prototyping. They are extremely important. We're going to introduce their times to you. The first is at 12:05, and the second one is around 6 in the evening. And you should continue the channel announcement so that you get to know the specified times for the webinars and the deadline for forming the team. Because we want and love that all the participants would be forming the teams and working on the challenge. That because of that, one last notice, at 5:30 will be the time for registering the teams. Any participant who wouldn't be within a team or who couldn't form a team will lose the opportunity to continue the competition in that hackathon. There's a special channel. There's some slide team information, and anyone who might look for a team might enter some bio about them, a small bio about, very brief bio about themselves, so that they would attract the programmers and the designers according to their needs, so that they would complement their team and be qualifying for the competition. That's for the first day. As to the second day, we would start the actual hacking. We would have a session with mentors, a meeting with mentors, and also we will be with you live from the second and the third days. So we will give you a quick briefing about the situation and development. The third day, how about the third day?
Regarding the third day, the whole day will be about build all the time will be about building the application and the prototypes, the coding, the features of the application, and like the whole day will be hacking. One important thing about this day is that we will have one of the judges of this hackathon, and they will share stuff and tips that participants can share, can focus on while preparing their applications. And it's important to note that the output of the third day is that you should share a video of a 3-minute video with us about your problem and how are you going to.
That's great, Ghada. Excellent. Now we make it to the end. The fourth day, the monster stage. The fourth day or the concluding day, the hackathon, we would have a group of teams that send their videos in the third days and the prototyping, and where they speak about their idea, introduce their idea and all details that they discussed, that their idea discussed, and that they introduce the third day. They would be presented to the group that work with them, the mentors that work with them, and they choose the judge or the jury that was chosen will choose the successful videos that they would be arbitrators of those ideas. So the top 10 would be chosen, and when those top 10s, we would review the top 10 ideas that made it to the final stages. And after that, after reviewing all the ideas, there would be some quick and brief discussion with the judges and jurists and asking them about the ideas that were proposed by the 10 teams that qualify for the top 10, the final stage. And after that, we will reach the 7:30 evening, April 18th, the moment of the declaration.
The moment of the truth, Abdullah.
Yes, indeed. And eventually, at the end of the hackathon, we'd make it to the moment of declaration, and 7:30 in the evening, we will declare the winning ideas that we will continue the follow-up with them step by step till we'll reach it to the real implementation of those ideas to become tangibly Palestinian ideas and solutions that were presented by Palestinian innovative and entrepreneur youth for the entire world. Isn't that right? Now, before just we leave 5 minutes a break, and then after that break, we would resume our live broadcast. Stay tuned, and then we will start our first segment where we would have our exceptional guests after this break. So stay with us, stay tuned, because our guest is extremely exceptional.
This is a very special guest, to be honest. You should stay tuned, follow the live stream to hear what she's going to share with us.
But we weren't going to talk a lot about this because we want you all to stay with us. But we'd like to draw your attention again that all our partners who were a success, pillar of this, the success of this hackathon from the beginning of this hackathon, that we hope it would be successful. All our partners, on top of what Crescent Enterprise, Intersect Hub, the UNICEF, the UNFPA, the Canadian government, and also the government of Holland, and also Bank of Palestine and the SIDA, the Swedish International Development Agency, and we, Gaza Sky Geeks and Mercy Corps, and an integral part and a simple part that we try through all those efforts to reach something that would alleviate the suffering of our Palestinian people and also of the world in general. We thank again the Palestinians, all the youth who engaged with us and who participated from wherever they are. Now, don't forget to stay tuned in that live broadcast. Very short break, not more than 5 minutes, and we will get back to an exceptional guest.
ياسمين أبو عمر هي زميلتنا في غازا سكاي جيكس من أحد الدعائم الرئيسية للمنتورشيب كوردينيشن.
انت الضيف ياسمين؟
لا، واشتغلت كثير على موضوع الابلكيشن تبع المنتورز. احنا طبعا كثير ابلكيشنز، فيعطيك الف عافيه ياسمين. راح نسيب المايك مع ياسمين هلا تحكي لنا شويه عن المنتورشيب، كيف راح يكون شكلها بالهاكاثون. بس قبل هي اللي راح تستضيف
الضيف الاستثنائي،
الضيفه المميزه المهمه.
فكرت ياسمين؟
لا للاسف مش انا الضيف الاستثنائي والضيف المميز. الضيف المميز حدا صراحة كتير مميز أكتر مني. هلا بس لأخبركم شوي، يعني إحنا بهاك ذا كرايسيس بالستاين كتير فخورين بعدد المنتورز اللي مشاركين معنا من كل أنحاء العالم، من كل شركات العالم. تقدروا كلهم تشوفوهم على الويب سايت عنا. فهذا شكر خاص لكل المنتورز اللي بيساعدونا. يعني صدقاً لولاكم بتهيالي ما كنا رح نقدر نعمل هيك إشي خلال الهاكاثون. وهذا للبارتيسيبنتس تبعونا، يعني إحنا وياكم محظوظين بأنه عندنا خبراء من كل المجالات ليساعدونا، سواء بالماركتينج، بالبزنس، حتى بتطوير الابليكيشنز والويب سايت اللي بنشتغل عليها، بالديزاين.
So you can ask the mentors, the international mentors, for help through the international mentors channel on Slack. Now,
also we should draw your people's attention that the ones who want to listen and to follow the conversation should go to the Chinese channel so that they would be listening the rendition of Arabic in Arabic language.
That's right. Now let's welcome our guest. Everyone in Hackathon, the Crisis Palestine, is inspired by this mentor. Aisha is one of the mentors we will have today. Now she's unfortunately facing the coronavirus, but although she's trying to help us, to help Palestinian coders and entrepreneurs by working with them on this hackathon. مرحبا عائشة، أنا كنت أقدمك لجميع.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I'd leave it for you now to tell us more about yourself. Tell us about your experience with COVID-19, and then tell us why did you choose to mentor despite of that.
Okay, hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Hey, I'm Aisha. I may have met some of you. I've been over to Gaza a few years ago to mentor. I think it was 2018. I'm currently joining from the UK. We are quite ahead, I think, with the outbreak here. So according to our government in the UK, we have just under 10,000 cases. But testing isn't overly, it's not very widespread at the moment. So it's only really people who are being admitted into hospital for care who are getting tested. So it's thought that the numbers of people who have coronavirus are significantly higher than the numbers that being put out by the press at the moment. So I personally started having symptoms 3 weeks ago, and I thought it'd be really interesting to share with everyone. This is just one person's experience of what it's been like, but it's definitely been very unusual symptoms, and it's been nothing like what I was expecting to happen. So at the moment I'm on week 3. But in week 1 it started very mild. So to start with, I had a bit of a sore throat, and I was just very tired. So I would be fatigued. I would, in the middle of the day, just want to have a nap on most days, which I thought was unusual. And then after 3 days, I lost my sense of taste. So eating anything, everything tasted exactly the same. I could only really tell the difference between textures. And then that was for maybe like 3 or 4 days. I felt like that, and then it all started to get better. So my sense of taste came back. I had more energy, and my sore throat was gone. And one of the unusual things that quite a few people have been reporting with this virus is that it feels like it comes in waves. So I had been self-isolating from 3 weeks ago, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it's all starting to clear now, maybe I'm okay to go out. And then 3 days after I was starting to feel better, I started to develop breathing problems, and it seemed to be the phase when pneumonia sets in. So to start with, it was just a little bit like I was out of breath. And then as the days went on, it got a lot worse. So by day 10, which was the worst day of the breathing symptoms that I had, so that would have been about 3 or 4 days after they started, it got to the point where I couldn't talk. So I could maybe say 1 word or 2 words with a full lung of breath. And I was out of breath. I started to get quite confused. I guess my body wasn't quite getting enough oxygen at the time. At this point, I did end up going to hospital on recommendation of ringing a doctor. They took all of my vital signs. They took my blood pressure. They listened to my heart rate, and they used an oxygen meter, like an oximeter, on my finger to see how much oxygen was in my blood. So I'm 31 years old. And it was they said I had pneumonia because my lungs were inflamed and I couldn't breathe, but with the current state of things, I was fine to go home to rest. And they said it is going to pass if it gets worse. So if I physically can't breathe by myself, then I come back into A&E. So I went to hospital, got checked, came home. And this really unusual thing was, so maybe I was feeling that severe with my lack of breath for about 6 hours. And for me, luckily, by that evening, it started to ease up again. So then the symptoms started to die down. I couldn't breathe properly, but I could breathe a lot more comfortably than I did before. This went on for a few days, and then my lung issues started to clear up. And as I said, people say this comes in waves, and I was assuming that was going to be the end of it. But at the beginning of week 3, I started to get quite an upset stomach, and then I had about a week's wave of nausea. So this was quite intense. I actually had intense nausea, headaches, and dehydration all at the same time. And yeah, I guess one of the really interesting things for me is, in my experience, the symptoms have been very different at different points in time. So with the nausea and the headaches, if I ever didn't have any food in my stomach, I would be getting acid reflux and throwing up stomach acid, and just had very severe headaches and dehydration, and no amount. I was probably drinking maybe 3 liters of water a day, and nothing quite felt like it was hydrating me properly. That again, it got quite serious for maybe 2 days when I couldn't get out of bed, and then it slowly started to ease up. So today is the end of week 3. So I've had this for 21 days now, and it seems to be easing up as the waves have been coming in and out. I'm going to wait and see how it progresses. But from talking to other people, this seems to be kind of like the end of most of the symptoms that other people have been reporting. Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about, I guess that was the very physical symptoms, but there's also the practicalities of being ill are quite interesting. So this is the first time I've ever had an infectious disease. And with that, what I did was, as soon as I started to notice I was extra tired, and because everyone's on quite high alert in the UK at the moment because it's spreading quite quickly, I self-isolated. So I do live with friends, and I sent them a message on WhatsApp and was like, hey, I'm not feeling so well. I'm just going to stay in my room for a couple of days and we'll see how this goes. And I'm really glad I did do that, because nobody else in my house has gotten sick. At the beginning, it felt a little bit like it was overkill. It was a little bit too much for me to be separating myself from everyone just because I was a bit tired. But yeah, in retrospect, it was definitely the right decision to make. It does mean that I haven't seen a human in 3 weeks, which is another interesting side effect of what's happening, apart from the one day that I went to the hospital. I've definitely been relying on Zoom, on Hangouts, on WhatsApp to kind of stay connected with people. For the first 2 weeks, I definitely felt like I could still do things and I was able to talk and catch up with friends and wanted to still like have human connection. The last week has been a little bit more because it was a lot of sickness. That was mostly me just resting in bed. Something else that I found really useful over the few weeks, because a lot of the news that's happening in the media at the moment is about severe cases. I personally found it really useful talking to other people who were experiencing mild and moderate cases, just to hear that they'd been through it and what their experiences were. I have an uncle who's in his 50s who has got symptoms maybe 3 weeks before me, and alhamdulillah, he's doing a lot better now. But it was really useful for me to talk to him about what he was going through and what was coming next. Like I knew that I was going to be going through dehydration and nausea. Even though I wasn't expecting the extent of it, it was still nice to talk to someone else who said, oh, I went through the same thing. That was really useful. I guess other things that I've been using, so since this is a hackathon, I've been using 2 pieces of technology. I've been just using a note app where I've been daily tracking my own symptoms, especially because at some points in this you can start to get a little bit confused. It's easy to forget how long it's been or how long you've had symptoms for. So I'm able to like recount what happened with you all today because I have a day-by-day tracker of saying, okay, I was getting better, that lasted for 3 days, and then I started feeling sick again. So that's been really useful to be able to look back on. I don't think my memory would have been as precise for those 3 weeks. In the UK, we also have a data tracking app, which is collecting data for scientists. So every day I log into that and I report to them what my symptoms are. I can't see my history in that app, but it is being collected in conjunction with like King's College and a lot of research institutes so that they can start to see patterns in what's happening in the wider population. So yeah, that's been my experience so far. I thought it'd be interesting to share it with you all today. As even for myself, before this was happening, I was just reading what was going on in the news, and it was definitely a different experience living through it myself. And there was some different problems that arose as someone who was going through some of the milder symptoms.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Aisha. That's really great to hear. First of all, like our wishes and everyone on the Zoom link are wishing you a speed recovery. So we hope you're gonna get better soon. And I honestly feel that like it's really brave of you to talk about it to everyone else, because it is important for us to learn about the real experience, and for our participants, we're gonna be trying to find solutions for this. Now, my question for you is that I can imagine that with the whole COVID-19 and what it's doing to the world, it's not only about the symptoms that you face. There's a whole like bunch of emotions that can like really make you so afraid and so stressed out with all the media and what's happening. So my question for you, how were you able to battle these emotions and to decide that despite what you're going through, you are going to mentor and to join this hackathon?
I think I've been very fortunate to have the support of others. For me, I guess, so I'm a software developer. If I get stressed, I think my emotional brain tries to switch off and my logic brain takes over. So one of the ways that I've been dealing with with what's been happening is just trying to gather as much information about it as possible and watching WHO's press conferences. And that sharing of information by other people was really beneficial to me. And I wanted to have the opportunity to share my small experience with other people to see if that's of use to them too.
Yeah. No, that's really great, Aisha. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And for everyone else, Aisha is one of our mentors during the hackathon, and we're so excited to having her. So جميعا يعني كمان مرة احنا بنتشكر عايشة وبنخبركم انه عايشة هي حدا من المنتورز اللي موجودين معنا.
Aisha is one of the mentors we will have during the hackathon. We're so excited to have her and to have every other mentor. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
We wish that Aisha would overcome the status as soon as possible. And then, Aisha, you have been very resistant and you have resilient, and we have fully ready to cooperate with the participant in this hackathon. Thank you, Yasmin, for this awesome dialogue over conversation. Thank you, Yasmin. We have a webinar. We don't.
I want to note to every participant of this hackathon that in a few minutes we will have our very first webinar in this hackathon. It will be about forming teams and how to choose your team members. Today you're supposed to be working on forming your team. You should be careful when doing this, and we know it's a bit hard because it's not easy to work with people on something like this. We're going to welcome Angela, who's an Australian professional. She will give you a webinar on how to deal with your team during the hackathon and how to form this team.
Gaza, Yasmin, and all the participants, we should understand the importance of this point that we have drawn your attention repeatedly. At 5:30, we're closing the forum and start forming the teams. If you have any glitches, problems, troubleshooting, continue and follow up this workshop for you to follow it smoothly. Pick during the interpretation to Chinese for you to be able to attend that workshop in Arabic. If you want to follow it in English, you should pick English. And the tools, or you would be following the workshop on the Gaza Sky Geeks channel on the YouTube, where it would be live and going on in English. Okay. A very important, an important webinar, and Angela might be joining us now. The webinar would be on another link. Stay tuned. Wait for the announcement channel for Slack Hack the Crisis Palestine, where are we going to publish a special link for the webinar. Follow it up. It's very important. Ask the help desk if you have any information. But always remember, keep in your mind that the most important thing now, that every participant should be a part of a team so that they would be able to continue with us. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ghada. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank
you all the participants. Stay tuned, stay close.
Thank you all.